Under the President's report, we have, was listed under finance, the public posting of documents. We had a discussion at the November 7th Committee of the Whole meeting, and we talked about making all board packets available to the public the day after the board meeting. And they'd be available on our website at hinsdale86.org. At this time, we need a motion to approve public posting of board documents as discussed. A motion?
I move to approve public posting of board documents as discussed that are FOIA-able.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Excuse me, we still cannot hear back here. Why don't we spend some money on
There's
our
some mics that are off for somebody, you can't hear nothing, you can't hear. All you mumbling up there.
Okay.
Well, why doesn't the board take the effort? Can you all hear in the back right now?
No, we
There's
can't hear.
something
We can't hear
We
you.
can't hear
Okay,
you
then
at
there's
all.
some wrong with the mic.
It must be turned off or turned down to low.
Or you'll have to speak up.
Okay, we'll try to speak louder. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I move to approve the public posting of board documents as discussed that are FOIA-able.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the public posting of board documents as discussed, which are FOIA-able. Are there any questions, discussion?
Yes, normally, isn't there a resolution that has the precise language? Because that's very nebulous when it says move to approve the public posting as board documents as discussed, when nobody knows what was discussed.
Well, you were at the meeting.
I know, but all
So-
these people weren't, and somebody going on the website wouldn't know what's being approved. And
Okay, why don't
therefore-
you explain it?
That's not true, because it's on the minutes of the agenda of what's being discussed, board discussion. It's listed on there on the agenda, and the agenda is put out, I think, on Thursday. So it's clearly identified.
Oh, I'm not talking about myself, I was at the
No,
meeting.
I know, but it's on the website as well. It's posted for public viewing, so they know what's discussed. So that people, if there is an item on the agenda for discussion, the public can see and make appropriate plans to make sure they're there for the meeting. So that it is posted.
But wouldn't it be simpler if there was just the two sentences right there? And in that vein, I would like to make an amendment. And the amendment is that all documents that are given to the board and that are FOIA-able be given to the public at the same time they're given to the board, and not make the public wait until the day after the meeting. So-
I'd second that motion. I'll second that.
Okay, there's a
Don't we
motion.
already have a motion on the floor
That
that
was
has
an
to be
amendment.
withdrawn?
Well, they're asking to amend the motion. There's a motion to amend. We'll vote on the motion to amend first. If you agree with the amendment to make all documents public at the same time they're given to the board, that's your amendment?
If they're FOIA-able, and we're not
Oh, if
talking about
they're FOIA.
confidential stuff.
Okay, if they're FOIA-able,
But he wants to do it before.
For the audience's sake, the documents as read in this motion are to release the documents that the board reviews after the meeting, not before. Therefore, as residents and taxpayers, you would not get to see some of the same things that we see as board members.
That's
It is-
incorrect.
Because
I-
based,
That is incorrect.
No, it's
The
not.
things that they don't get to see are the things that we haven't voted on yet. So that should
No,
be
that, no,
available.
they're not
Everything else,
Not everything
they
we
can
vote
click
on.
on it.
No, not everything that we see in our
Yeah.
packet do we vote on.
Okay,
So-
let me give you an example why this amendment is needed. When the master facility plan was first presented in either January or February, the board obviously had the master facility plan in front of them, the 3 phases, etc. The press, the people in the audience had no idea what they're voting on. They had no idea what phase 1 cost. They had no idea what phase 2 cost. Some members of the audience questioned that, and they were told by the superintendent that they would be promptly put on the website the morning after the meeting. There's no reason for the public not to see what potentially a board is going to enact. So that is the reason for the amendment. And by the way, the original proposal here reminds me very much of Nancy Pelosi's healthcare bill. Let's vote on it, and then we'll see what's in it.
Well, I don't see the similarity at all, besides the fact you left out some important facts. There was a presentation on the master facility plan. It was also worked on by faculty members, by public members, by board members. It's not done in the dark, Dr. Skoda, and you know that. But I suspect, based on the way that you and Mrs. Barrett are conducting your portion of the meeting, having a discussion with the public, as if you're here to present some kind of side of an issue, as if we're in a debate. We're not. We're here to pass items that have been vetted already, have come before the board, have been talked about in public, and are now here to be voted on. You make it sound, a motion to approve public posting, you make it sound sinister. We're actually providing information to people.
The day after. Let's just get to what I said. Mr. Brennan, tell me why the master facilities plan, which was presented on a Monday night and approved on a Monday night, the public could not see what was in it before it was approved.
Dennis, can we vote on this motion? I don't think we should go backwards in our discussions.
I have some discussion out of the board documents are not FOIA-able until the board discusses them. So they do not become public knowledge until the board has a chance to discuss them in public. So it's like, what are we trying to accomplish here?
I thought we were trying to accomplish to give more access to documents.
Dennis, can we vote on his motion so we can?
And I may add one other thing. As the Hinsdalean pointed out, the Village of Hinsdale now provides my amendment to the public. Hinsdale Elementary School 181 provides the documents prior to the meeting, not after. So therefore, Mr. Brennan, why don't we join the other public bodies in Hinsdale with openness? And once again, something calling something openness when it's not. And I was in the audience, and it's very demeaning, insulting, etc. They have people talking at a table that, one, generally you can't hear, but if you could hear them, you still can't understand because you don't know what they're talking about because they don't give you anything. So why can't we give it to them? And by the way,
Dennis, can we
if,
vote on his motion?
excuse me, you're interrupting, thank you. And quite honestly, let's say, for instance, somebody has a proposal for making a fine arts center. Okay, you're right, it's not FOIA-able. However, the board's gonna talk about it, then it will be FOIA-able, and maybe if the public looked at it, there would be 100 people out there saying, hey, let's do it, or 100 people not saying, let's not do it. So the more public input we have, the better.
I have a question. On this, the agenda we got this time, what was not available?
Okay, again,
But I want to know, because I was under the understanding that it was available. They could click on it just like we could, except for personnel stuff and stuff that we haven't voted on. Everything else is already available when it's available to us.
Like I said last week, I don't spend my time searching District 86.
But you're saying it's not, when it is.
okay,
No,
under
no, it's not.
Under the proposal that I amended, if I did not amend it, the master facilities plan, if a new one was presented, the public here would not see it until the day after. And Mr. Brennan even said that was the case. And he said that we should trust the people on the inside of the school who worked hard on this,
I
etc.
didn't say that. I don't know where you get this from. There was a presentation here in public. There was a screen. The architect went through different plans. We went through, I think, 3 different choices. After the facility committee had also gone through it. After people in the community had gone through it. The master facility committee. So for you to say that it was in the dark,
Okay.
that's not true.
I was in the audience that day.
You're
Numbers-
talking about one day, after it already had come through the board
No, no,
several
no.
times.
And numbers were talked about, and it was muffled, and somebody would say 40 million, somebody would say 103 million, nobody knew about it. What I'm saying is, let the people
Rick,
in
have
the
you ever
press.
gone to our website and looked down here? Right now, I would like you to go on there and pull up our agenda as a resident. Most of this stuff is on here. I'm pulling it up right now. You're saying it's not on here.
I'm
You keep
saying,
saying it over and over again. I just pulled it up. You want me to walk it over to you and show you
But
to you?
is that our job to check the district?
You just said it's
If
not
you're-
on there. It's on here.
If you're gonna misstate facts, it is your job.
Excuse me.
But you guys are saying this stuff isn't on here. It's on here. Right now.
Mr. Kuhn, did you
Right
read,
now.
Mr. Kuhn, did you read the Hinsdalian last week?
Right now, Rick.
Mr. Kuhn, did you
Right-
read the Hinsdalian last
Right
week?
now, have you ever looked at it? You just both admitted that you've never looked at
I
it.
told you the one fact, Mr. Kuhn,
It's
which
on here.
was
It's
the
on here.
master facilities plan, $103 million was not available to the public or the press prior to the adoption. Dr. Wall that night said it
What
would
about
be
today,
available the
Rick?
next day.
Talking present day, not
We
past.
are. Let's talk last week, Thursday.
Go on here.
Let's talk
Go
last
on the
week,
agenda for
Thursday.
this week. Go
We're
on the
talking
agenda
last
for
week,
this week.
Thursday. The Hinsdalian had an editorial that complimented this board for taking a baby step and having a policy that said we'll post it on Tuesday, but they said we are still far behind District 181 and Hinsdale that provide it simultaneously.
Mr.
Therefore-
President, I call the question, I call the vote.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have an amended motion on the floor. Kathy, can you read that back?
Do you want the first one?
The amended.
The amended
The
motion.
amended one? Make all public documents available that are foilable to the public prior to the meeting.
Okay, that's the amended motion, Dr. Scott?
That is correct.
Okay, we vote on the amended motion first. If that passes, we're done. If it doesn't pass, we then take the motion that we already had. Kathy, can you call the roll?
Okay, Dr. Skoda, you made the motion, is there a second?
I second.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Gorgel?
No.
Mr. Brennan?
No.
Mr. Kuhn?
No.
Mrs. Gallo?
No, based on the fact that the documents are not foilable before the meeting.
Mrs. Clancy?
No.
Okay, that motion, the amended motion fails. Now, we
I'd like
have,
to-
Well, yeah, he's got to
Dr. Skoda?
Yes.
oh, I'm sorry.